Hello, everybody. I was trying something new with the overlay with StreamYard. I'm just going to go on my phone right now so I can see the comments. I'm using StreamYard. So if you're jumping on here right now and you want to comment, I was going to ask you if you would comment. Just say hi, say where you're from or whatever. It's nicer to talk when I know people are there to talk to. So I am just checking to make sure that we are live in the group right now. And I'm going to do this on my phone so that I can see the comments. Because I'm using StreamYard, you have to allow StreamYard to see your profile in order to see the comments. Like I just saw a hello come up, but it says Facebook user. I don't know who it is. So that's okay. Let me just go into the group on my phone. And then I can see me live. Oh, Marisha, hello, how are you? Thanks for saying hi. Okay, so are we on here? Wait, let me take the, oh, and Isabel, hi, how are you? Thank you so much. Okay, Irina, hello, thanks for jumping on here. It's so much easier to get started talking when I see that there are people on. So I got a request to talk about my story on tonight's Live at 5, and at first I was a little nervous to do that. Well, actually, I'm still nervous to do that because I stay here. I stay in the present. My focus today is keeping myself healthy and helping other people get healthy and teaching them how to do that. The picture that I posted for today's event is the iceberg. What you see on the top versus what you see at the bottom is kind of like my story. You don't see all the stuff that went into getting here. And sometimes it gives people some false hope when they see me today and they go, "Oh, thank you. Who said that? You've got this, girl. Oh, Amanda, thank you so much. Can you hear to my voice? I'm a little shaky." It's fine. I don't ever go back into the past, but I'm going to today. Hi, Allie. How are you doing? Ginger, hello. So anyway, the iceberg picture. I use that picture because people see me today and they go, "Oh, I want to do what she did." And they start doing what I'm teaching them. And if it doesn't happen right away, they get discouraged. And they think, "Oh, well, I'm never gonna be healthy." Janine did it. Well, okay, Janine a long time. What I talk about is all of the darkness that led up to my health today. I didn't just start a protocol and go through my peaks and valleys and, it was fine. My valleys were deep and they lasted a long time. And there were so many times when I didn't think that I would ever get healthy or that I would ever have any quality of life other than living the life handicapped with my kids. And I was fine with that for the most part. But there were times, a lot of times, where I would sit in my chair in my room. I'll go through it, but later when I was single for 7-8 years. And when I talk single, not even dating, like just single. My kids would go to their fathers for the weekend, and I would sit in my chair in my room from Friday night until Sunday night when they came home. And I would just sit there. I'd get up to go to the bathroom, I'd get up to get coffee, but otherwise I would just sit in my dark room in just this funk, this depression. I want to take you today through the timeline of what happened to me because it's important for you to see that it does take time. What I did today was come up with that protocol to make it a lot faster for you guys to get healthy because I didn't know what I was doing for the longest time until the medical medium came out with his first book. I didn't know what I was doing. I had an idea. I followed my intuition. Sometimes it worked and sometimes I felt like it wasn't working. But what I did was I kept going. I didn't give up. And no matter what you're doing, whether you're starting a business or trying to get healthy or raising kids, as long as you don't give up, you can't fail. So I'm going to take you through right now the timeline of when this all started, all the way up until today, and why I have a coaching practice today and how that happened. I didn't just wake up and be like, I want to coach people to get healthy with MS. No, it's an evolution. Everything that we do is an evolution. You have to be okay with sucking at something first until you get good at it. And how do you get good at it? You don't give up. You just keep doing it over and over again. So I'm just checking who's jumping on. Hi, May. How are you? It makes me so much more comfortable when I see names on here. So thank you. Silvana, how are you? Okay. So Karen, hi, I see you just jumped on. How are you? So so I'm just gonna go through it. So in 2002, my son was born, Christopher. I was a very busy person. I worked at the corporate office of Jersey Mike's. I was the director of purchasing. I was a very young director of purchasing. They gave me a lot of responsibility very early on because I had started that job when I was 17 and worked my way up. So I was a very young director of purchasing with a lot of responsibility, and I just kept taking on more and more and more. While I was at that job, Rochelle, hi, how are you? While I was at that job, my leg went numb and I was too busy to do anything about it until my boss said, why don't you go to my brother? He's a chiropractor and see what's going on, because a numb leg for this long, go see. So it was actually him, the chiropractor, who ended up diagnosing me because he would press on certain parts of my spine and be like, this doesn't hurt. I'm like, no, it doesn't. So he sent me for all the tests. The one where they hook those things. I can't think of what it's called right now, but they hook those things up to you and they send an electrical current down your spine. If you feel it, great. And if you don't, there's a problem. So I failed all the tests, and that's when he sent me to the neurologist, who went through all the tests, the MRI, the spinal tap, the blood test, and I got my confirmed diagnosis of MS. At that point, I still felt like I was way too busy to be dealing with MS. And at that time in my life, I was under the impression that if you just stick your head in the sand and ignore it, it will eventually go away. Well, you grow up and you realize that that doesn't work. Everything just gets worse and it ends up blowing up in your face. So if there's anyone else like that on here, if you just want to be like, yeah, that's me. It took me a long time to realize that you got to face your problems head on and deal with them. And really they end up not blowing up in your face for the most part. So I got my diagnosis. I was too busy to deal with it, whatever. It kept getting worse. So that was in 2004 that I was diagnosed. As it continued to get worse, I was still going to the neurologist for follow-ups, and he would ask me what's going on. I would tell him, he's like, Janine, you've got to get on the medication. I'm like, I can't, I don't want to. I still want to have another child. He's like, well, you can't get pregnant on this medication because it will kill the fetus. I'm like, what the hell kind of medication is that? So I got a scare, and he said that the MS, which we now know is your immune system attacking, was so close to my optic nerve that if it moved at all, I would be blind, and there was nothing that he could do for me. So I said, there's no way I'm going on the medication. He's like, well, hurry up, go home and get pregnant, and we will monitor you and then put you on the medication. And back at that time, you could go home and hurry up and get pregnant, and I did. So I had my daughter in 2006. 3 months after I had her, I had such a relapse that the doctors scared the shit out of me and got me to go on the medication. And just like we all feel in the neurologist, like, who the hell am I to question this? Of course I'm going to listen to them. So I did. I went on the medication. There were only 3 at the time: Avonex, betaseron, and Copaxone, the ABC drugs. Now there's a shit ton of them, and you have to choose. Well, I chose the every other day injection, and that betaseron destroyed me. I was on it for a year, and here I am, married, 2 kids. I was on the betaseron. I was still working, and I kept getting worse and worse and worse until one day I had come home from a business trip, and I was sitting in that same chair I was telling you about earlier, and I couldn't get up from the chair. I couldn't get up. I couldn't feel my arms. I could barely feel my legs. And we went to the emergency room, and what did they always say? Oh, well, you have MS. This is it. This is part of it. Go home and you'll be fine. Well, I went home and things continued to get worse. I eventually lost all feeling in my arms and all feeling in my legs. And I would just lay there in bed. And that lasted for a little over a month until I could finally move underneath my elbow and underneath my knees. It slowly started coming back. But in that time, when I was paralyzed, I was sitting in that same chair, and my then husband said, I'm going to go to 7-Eleven. I'll be right back. I'm like, no, don't leave me. Christopher was in kindergarten and Julie was 2. She was sitting on the floor in front of me, and she was such a good child. He knew that he could go to 7-Eleven and come back and she wouldn't even move. She was just sitting on like a rug or a blanket with all of her toys. So he says, I'll be right back. I'm like, all right, hurry up. Now I'm paralyzed. I'm sitting in the chair. I can't feel my arms. I can't feel my legs. I can't move from chair to chair. I can't, if anything happens, I couldn't get to her. He's not even out of the driveway 2 minutes, and she gets up to show me a toy, and she trips and falls. I know she trips and she falls. She hits her head on the coffee table, and she starts crying and screaming. And it's that scream where, they open up their mouths and like no sound comes out until they catch their breath. And I couldn't get to her. I was just slinking down, kind of like out of my chair, trying to like move my way over to her. And she finally comes over to me, wraps her little chunky arms around my neck, and she's screaming now, "Mama, Mama, please, Mama, please help me." I couldn't help her. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't rub her head. She was hugging my neck, and she had her cheek against my cheek. And I remember so clearly the feeling of her tears on my cheek. So normally I could tell this story and be fine, but you all know I had a baby a month ago. My hormones are out of control. So there she is, crying, screaming, "Mama, please, Mama, please." And I couldn't do anything I could just sit there and while she hugged me. So my husband walks in. He's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And something snapped inside of me. I went, "That's it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't have MS. I have to be a mother." I knew my entire life that I wanted to have kids. From the time I don't even remember, it was from 4 or 5 years old. I knew I wanted to have kids. And here I am with these 2 beautiful children. And I didn't understand why God would give me these 2 beautiful kids and then take away my ability to take care of them. I thought that was absolutely absurd. There's no way that my body was attacking itself. That's not how God worked. That's not how my body worked. And I didn't know this for sure. But I had such a knowing that whatever the doctors were saying wasn't right. I could do something about this. I just didn't know what. So in that moment, my husband walks in. I'm like, "That's it. I quit. I'm quitting my job. I quit MS. I'm not doing this anymore." That's when I guess my mind was programmed to start healing myself. And that's usually where I stop the story and I tell people, which is the truth. From then on out, I started getting better and better. I did find a book. I eventually got my arms back. I started reading this book that I found called the MS Recovery Diet Book. It was about these 2 women who were in a wheelchair from MS. One was bedridden, one was in a wheelchair, and they changed their diet. And they're walking today. You'd never know that they were sick. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, shit, if somebody could do this, I'm sure as hell going to find a way to do it. So not knowing anything about anything, because I grew up on a diet of processed foods. And at that time I was smoking Marlboro Lights, eating Jersey Mike's subs, having my everything bagel with cream cheese and a nice coffee every morning. That was my life. And I was fine with that. I didn't know anything different. So I started reading this book, and these women, they did this allergy test. Well, remember, I told him I was quitting my job. I did. I quit my job. I quit my health insurance too, because my husband was self-employed. And we didn't have health insurance. I don't know what the hell we were thinking back then. We just paid for everything, which was nice back then. Anyway, so there I was, and I was like, all right, so I'm going to eliminate everything. So I did. I eliminated gluten, dairy, soy. I didn't know about the eggs. And there's something else that I don't remember what I eliminated. But once I eliminated everything, I stopped smoking. I started drinking water instead of Sprite. I drank Sprite. He drank Pepsi, and that's how we lived. I just drank water. I read about detoxing. But before I went any further, that's all I did was I eliminated those foods, and all I ate was chicken, fish, vegetables, and fruit. And I started to feel better. I started the clarity, like the brain fog started to lift. I felt like somebody took those foggy glasses off of me, and I could see clearly. And I could finally do things like make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I would get so confused trying to make a sandwich beforehand. There was too much. It's like, all right, get the bread, get the jelly, the peanut butter. Wait, the peanut butter is over there. Shit, I need a fork. No, get a spoon for the jelly. Okay, I need to sit down. I'm exhausted. My legs can't do this. God, my hands hurt. That was me making a sandwich. And after I started eliminating these foods, I was making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich like it was nothing. And to me, that was huge. And I hung on to that. And then I kept reading more stuff. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, so Julie fell. That was 2008. She was 2 years old when she fell. 2008. So slowly, little by little, I was getting my feeling back in my legs. I was starting to walk again, and my marriage kept getting worse and worse. Mind you, he's not a bad guy. So what I'm about to tell you, yes, I was able to forgive him, because I feel, I'm going to say this first, Everyone's allowed to lose their mind once. And what that man did for me, he used to carry me from the bed to the bathroom. He would make my food. He would take care of the kids. There were times when I couldn't do anything but lay in that bed or sit in that chair. There was nothing that I could do. He did everything. I'm starting with that first. Okay, so here I am. I'm able to walk. I'm able to use my arms. And this is something I don't talk about in the group. I don't ever talk about it, but I want you to know. So one day he loses his temper with me. He was outside raking the leaves. It was right before Halloween. We were going to have people over. We would have like a driveway fire pit where people would come over. We'd have a fire pit. I would make apple cider, and it was like a whole thing. So it was the day before Halloween. I'm like, all right, you got to go out and you got to do the leaves. So he's out there doing the leaves. And I went out there and I said something like, you're doing them wrong. I was not a nice person. I was always mad. I was always cranky. You would think that I was healing. I was feeling better and better. No, I was a miserable person because I wasn't where I needed to be. I was a very impatient person. He lost his mind. We got into an argument, and it was the day before Halloween, or it was the day of Halloween. No, it was the day before because it was the parade. So he and I got into an argument, and it got bad. It was heated. The kids were, well, Julie was in her room. Christopher was outside in the front yard playing with all the neighborhood kids. And the fight got so bad, he beat the shit out of me. He beat the shit out of me. And not where you see on TV where, my eyes falling out and I'm bleeding. No, but he beat the crap out of me to the point where I was passed out on the kitchen floor. Julie found me. All I remember is him carrying me up these 2 stairs. I have a ranch, but I have 2 stairs going. He carried me up the stairs by my feet. That's all I remember is my head, the back of my head banging against those 2 stairs. The next thing I remember is Julie right in front of me saying, Mama, 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 wake up. I had blacked out. So when I came to, I scooped Julie up. I didn't know where he was in the house. And I went outside. I grabbed my keys, went outside. Christopher, get in the car, get in the car. My thing was I was going to go to the police and just get him removed from the house. So I dropped off the kids at a friend's house and proceeded to go to the police department. So when I got to the police department, I said, hi, I'm Janine. I want to register a complaint against my husband. And they said, are you Janine of Barton Avenue? I said, yeah, I am. And they go, okay, sit down. You're under arrest. I said, excuse me? No, he did this to me. He did this to me. They're like, well, he just called and registered a complaint, a domestic violent complaint, and he has a scratch on his eye. Like he has a scratch on his eye. Look at me. So anyway, I couldn't register a restraining order because then my kids would be taken away since it was a long story. See, I can't even talk about it. It was a long story. So what ended up happening was he filed a restraining order and I had to not see my kids until we went to court. It was the worst experience of my life. And I knew that kind of stress could take me down. And I kept going, I'm not going to be taken down again. There's no fucking way that this man is going to send me into an exacerbation. Now, my arms are tingling, my legs are tingling, the stress level is out of this world. But I didn't do it. I stuck with the diet. I stuck with, okay, I can handle this. He eventually moved out. A couple months later, he had dropped the charges and he had eventually moved out. We didn't talk for those times. He moved out in March of, I wrote it down, 2012. In October of 2012, Hurricane Sandy hit. And he had already moved out. It was me and the 2 kids. Hurricane Sandy hit and there was a tree that fell in through my roof and into my kitchen. And I had to move my kids. It was a whole, all right, calm down. The level of stress that I experienced during that time, I knew that if I let that take me down, that was going to be the end. My kids were going to be taken away from me. There's no way. I didn't have any support. I didn't have any family members to take my kids. I had no help. Those were the times. Oh, by the way, I skipped over when he left. When he left, he had left me a note. I'm sorry. I can't do this life anymore. Good luck raising the kids. And he disappeared for 6 months. It wasn't like, there was custody or any, he was gone. He was just gone. So learning how to take care of myself and take care of my kids nearly took me down, but I didn't let it because I knew MS was going to take over my life. So I stuck with everything. Eventually, we found him. Eventually, I got on government assistance. And eventually, we started with a custody schedule. I never went to court because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford a lawyer. He couldn't afford a lawyer. Little by little, things started getting better. Little by little. This entire time, though, I made sure that nothing was going to take me down. There were times when the electric company would call me and they would say, we're shutting off your electricity on Monday. Here we are on Friday. And I go, no, you can't. I have 2 kids. And they would say that those aren't the laws anymore. We're unless you give us, I think it was something to me back then, it was crazy. It was $300 by Monday. We're shutting you off. And I'm like, $300? I don't have $30 to my name. I have to buy food. What do you? So what I did was I put price tags over everything in my house. And I had a garage sale that weekend. And I opened up the garage door during the garage sale. And anyone who would show up, I would say, listen, any tools in that garage, $20, anything in that garage. And I knew he had a shit ton of tools in there. I sold everything and I got like $500. I got $300 to pay the electric company. I had $200 left over to buy food. And those were the things that I did, these little tiny triumphs. I never gave up. I just kept going. Now, did I have moments of depression and just bouts of crying? Yeah, of course I did. When my kids went to school, when I was in the shower, I cried my fucking eyes out. And I never thought it was going to get better. My house was in foreclosure because when he left, he hadn't paid the bills for I don't know how many months. I think it was like 6 or 7 months. He didn't pay the bills. The house was in foreclosure, hundreds and hundreds of dollars on the utility bills. I told you what I did then with the garage sales. I had garage sales every month. Saving the house is another thing. So here's a good example of staying positive throughout the whole thing. Because the house was in foreclosure, there would be like these drive-by people who would be taking pictures of the house, these lawyers for the mortgage company. And my son, who was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at the time, he would say, Mom, why do these people like slow roll our house and take pictures? And I would say to him, I would make up this story and I'd say, listen, sweetie, we have the nicest house on the block and people are taking pictures of it because they want to buy it, but I won't let them because this is our house. And his eyes would light up and he'd be like, oh, really? Meanwhile, we were in foreclosure and those were the attorneys taking pictures of the house. Little things like that, having absolutely no money, barely any money for food. Here I am going into summer vacation. What am I going to do with these 2 kids? I can't work full time because they're going to need summer camp. Okay, well, I can afford summer camp. So what can I do in the summer? No money, 2 little kids. They still have these great memories of that summer because what we did was we would pack a lunch in the morning, we'd get on our bikes and we would ride our bikes and we would explore and we'd find treasure. And I wasn't able to afford the beach, but if you climbed the rocks, you'd be able to get on the beach for free and then climb the rocks to get back over it. They still remember it and they don't know because they didn't have any money. They just thought, we were on treasure hunts and we spent the entire day like that. So all throughout that time, I had been researching more ways to detox my body. Some worked, some didn't. I got a Colonics one time where you stick a tube up your butt and it shoots water up there and it cleans everything out. Normally that's very healing for people, but for me, no, it took me down and it made me sick for 2 weeks. Because I had leaky gut. And what leaky gut is, your gut lining is supposed to be like this, nice and tight. But when the lining of your gut is so poorly nourished, it starts breaking down. So this goes to this. And what happens is inside here is where all the food is passing through. And outside the gut lining is where about 80% of your immune system lives right here. So partially bits of undigested food would get through and trigger my immune system. When I did the colonics, when you flush out all the shit and crap that's on the inside and it hits the immune system that's on the outside, your immune system gets triggered again and you get very sick very fast. I did colonics. I did fasting. I drank gallons and gallons of milk thistle tea. All the while, some things were working. Sometimes I'd get better, and I felt like I was taking 3 steps forward and then taking 2 steps back. Not only was I dealing with my kids and no money and trying to get a good job so that I could save the house, but I was also trying to heal myself. And I would be dealing with, okay, this day, this eye is blurry, and this whole side of my head is numb and tingling and feels like it's just going to like get bugs crawling on it. And then other days, I couldn't feel my right leg at all. I would still go and do and walk around, but I couldn't feel my right leg at all. And then there were times when I realized that I had glutenized myself. My own word, glutenized. I had eaten gluten. Anytime I'd eat gluten, I would get symptoms. So this time, I didn't know to check the medication. The medication was Theraflu that I was taking because I had gotten the flu. When you get the flu, you lose your legs. At least I did. Because remember when I talked about the detours? My body hadn't made a detour yet. So anytime I got sick, the signal leaving my brain going down to my feet would hit the scar and get caught and to get stopped, because I wouldn't have the energy to make that detour around the scar for the signal to keep going. So I would lose my legs every time I got sick. Well, this one time I'm like, that's it. I'm taking medication. I took the Theraflu. Theraflu has wheat in it, or at least it did. Wheat flour to make it pour out better. So I was glutenized. One day I was getting out of bed and my body was like a robot. I would stop and then go and then stop and then go. And I lived like that for a week until my body was able to flush out all of that Theraflu. After that week, I was exhausted and couldn't feel my right leg again. It was always my right leg for a month. This went on for years. The way I was able to keep that needle moving was by staying as positive as I could, doing the best I could, and having faith that my body wasn't attacking itself, and constantly finding ways and books. Those are only a small sample of the books that I have. I read so many books. I remember this one book, um, the owner's manual. It was by, oh my God, the guy who has a TV show now. He's a doctor, Dr. Oz. I would find so many pieces of the puzzle in there. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this and I'm going to try that. And I'd always find things to try to keep the needle moving. This book, Healing Foods, I read about all the foods. I figured, all right, well, if I had to spend money for food, I might as well allow that food to work for me and start and try to heal my body. So I'd read about all the healing foods. Now, fast forward. Oh, I skipped over the whole tree thing. So yeah, the whole tree thing, the tree after Hurricane Sandy in my kitchen. Um, the insurance company gave me a shit ton of money to fix that. And here I am holding that check going, all right, well, I could either spend this money redoing my kitchen, or I could live on this money and feed my kids and have no kitchen. So what I decided to do was live on that money and feed my kids with it and fix the kitchen myself. So that's what I did. They would go to school and I would YouTube how to sheetrock, how to change lighting fixtures, how to do roofing. And I would spend that money on those materials and I would do it myself. And I did it. Didn't look very good, but I got it done. Those were the things that kept me going. Those were the things, like the little things. I didn't allow myself to break down, at least not in public or in front of my kids. I would allow myself to break down in the shower when my kids went to school, but even then I was busy. I would allow myself to break down only in the small clips of time where I was alone and no one can see it, and then I could build myself back up again. This was years. I looked so hard for somebody to say, I healed MS and this is how I did it. And no one fucking existed. Nobody existed. I just wanted someone to say, you're doing good. Don't worry. Keep going. I couldn't find anybody. Nobody I knew, not even in books. Those 2 women of the MS Recovery Diet book, those were the only 2 that I ever heard of that had healed themselves. And I hung on to that. I did everything that I possibly could to make my body healthy. I had this very strong intuition that my body was not attacking itself, that it was attacking something, either a bacteria, a fungus, a virus. I didn't friggin' know. So I treated it as if I was trying to kill all 3. Everything I did was to kill bacteria, kill viruses, kill the fungus. I did everything that I could get my hands on. And each thing worked a little bit, but it never really got me over the hump. I could never say that I was healed. I never wanted to date anybody because I felt like I was a ticking time bomb and it was only a matter of time. And I was only going on adrenaline. So now us now to 2015 when the medical medium, Anthony William, released his first book. When I started reading that book, he talked the way I did. He would say, your body's not attacking itself. There's no way that your body can attack itself. Oh, I forgot to look at the comments. I'm sorry. Rhonda, hi, sorry I'm late. Just got out of work. Oh, no worries. I've been talking forever now. And don't worry. You could always watch the replay. Charla, one of my words, say it. Wait, what did she say? Charla, one of my words, LOL, say it. Oh, yeah, fuck it. Kelly, hello from Cary, North Carolina. Quinn, oh, I'm glad you're on here. Hello. Cassie, hi. Don't worry about being late, guys. I'm just glad you're here. It's so much nicer talking to people. Okay, so I find the medical medium book and I start reading, and he's talking the way my mom, the things that I never wanted to say out loud to people. He said, your body's not attacking itself. What it is it's attacking a virus that the medical industry can't see. And he talks to the spirit of compassion. He sounded like a complete crazy man to me. But the things that he was saying about how your body can heal and will heal if you give it what it needs, that resonated with me very loudly as the truth. That was like, yeah, I can get on board with that. That's what I believe. Though I have no evidence to support this, he was talking the way I talk to myself in my head. So then he said something crazy about I hope I'm still on. Oh, I'm back. Okay. Just let me know if I'm still on. Yeah, I think I just went frozen, but I think I'm back now. Okay. I think I'm back now. Just let me know if I'm not on. Just give me a message. Someone give me a message saying, yeah, you're on and we can hear you. I know I'm blurry. I need a better camera or connection. I'm not sure. Okay, so the medical medium. When I read his book, I hear you now. Okay, good. Thank you. Who was that? Amanda, thank you. All right, so I'm good. So after reading that book and doing the things in the book that he said to do, I started getting better. I started understanding what I was targeting. You can't heal yourself unless you know what you're targeting. Thank you, Tina. I'm back. Yeah, I was frozen, right? I went black on my screen. Once you know what you're trying to heal, then you can heal it. And that's where my program comes in. I have taken everything that I have learned that has worked for me over the past 10 years, and I put it in a protocol. I call it a protocol because Terry Walls calls her thing a protocol. It's just a set of like instructions on what to do so that you don't overwhelm yourself and you don't spin your wheels, and you allow your body to catch up to what you're doing. You allow your body to go, okay, I'm going to take this on. Okay. And then you assess, how am I doing? And then what happens is in the next month, you do something else. This way, it doesn't overwhelm your life, because I realize we're all friggin' busy. We all have kids. We all have relationships or houses or responsibilities and jobs. And we don't have the time to dive into something. So because I didn't have the support, because I didn't have someone saying, yeah, I know you're on the right track. Don't worry, you're doing it. And this is how you do it. And you will get better. Because I didn't have that person, I became that person. And that's why I do what I do today. So let's fast forward. Medical medium releases his book. I start doing the things in the book along with the things that had worked for me in the past. And I start healing. I would say I was about 60% healed when he released his first book. I went from 60% healed to 100% healed in a year. So 2015, he releases his book. I would say by 2016, I didn't have any symptoms. When I tell you I didn't have any symptoms, my right foot, I never got sensation back in my right foot, like 100%. Never. My kids would make fun of me and like slap my foot or pinch it and be like, does that hurt? Does that hurt? And it never hurt. I had 100% feeling back in my right foot. It didn't drag anymore. I didn't trip over things because my foot didn't lift up when I walked. I was 100%. I am 100%. It took me that year of reading that book and implementing just a few more things that I was missing. So here I am, 100% healed. And I'm like, oh my God, this works. So kind of took a couple years to, I met my husband, who I'm married to today. And it took a couple years to just enjoy being with him and getting married and trying to have a baby. What I did was I started reaching out to people on Facebook, and I would say, listen, I healed myself of MS. I don't know if this works for everybody, but I would love to have somebody else try it and see if it does work. Because I felt like maybe I just willed it into reality. Maybe, I'm the kind of person I felt like if you gave me a sugar pill and you told me I was going to grow a second nose, I would be the person walking around with two noses. I believed in this so much. I believed I was going to heal so much. I didn't know how, but I just kept on going and it worked. That I wasn't sure if you needed to have that crazy level of belief in order to heal. So what I did was I reached out to people on Facebook and I was just completely honest with them. I said, "Listen, this is what I did. It worked. And do you want to try it? I'd love to walk you through it and see if it works for you." And a couple of them were like, "You're crazy, you're insane," and blocked me. And I don't blame them at all. And then two of them said, or three of them actually, but one didn't stay around. Two of them said, "Yeah, we'll try it. Yeah, let's talk." So we talked every weekend and I walked them through what I did and they started to heal. And then I started reaching out to more people and then they started to heal. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I think I need to reach a lot more people because this is working. It's not just me. And that's how the coaching practice got started. I just was completely honest with people and said, listen, I don't know if this works, but I'd love to test it out because if it does, the world needs to know that you absolutely can heal from MS. This is not a death sentence like I always thought it was. I always felt like this was it. I had such a limited time left with my kids because I have MS and eventually I was going to be wheelchair bound and that was going to be my life. But it wasn't. And now what I do is I talk to anybody who will listen to me and let them know that MS is just a virus. And my job got a lot easier recently when, who's that guy? Matt Embry. When Matt Embry came out and he's like, oh, by the way, the medical industry has finally recognized autoimmune disease being linked to the Epstein-Barr virus. So now when I tell people that MS is just a virus, they don't, hang up the phone or laugh at me or say you're insane. They actually say, oh yeah, I heard that. So all right, so rewind a little bit. I started doing a workshop to teach everybody how to do this. You don't have to have a ton of money to heal yourself. You don't. I did it on absolutely zero money, a single parent trying to feed my kids. I did it all with food. I didn't take supplements back then because I couldn't afford them. There was no way. So I did it all with food. And it took me a really long time. Who said that? Hold on. Suzanne says, I would love to have that determination that you had. I struggle with going all in. Okay, but remember, Suzanne, I didn't go all in. This was over 10 years. Little by little by little, I would find things that worked for me. I didn't just dive into this and say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do it all. So don't ever beat yourself up for not going all in. You can't. You have to do it little by little so it doesn't consume your life and you stay motivated. So that's why my program is 4 months long. It doesn't take just 4 months to heal, though some people have healed in 4 months. Depends on where you are and how long you've had it and where it's affecting you. But the 4-month program is so that each month we learn something new and we take it slowly so that at the end of the 4 months, you're like, oh, I got this. I can do this. And then you stick with it and then you continue to heal. So you don't have to go all in. I don't recommend going all in because you just get overwhelmed. So where was I? All right. So I finally was able to a couple months ago, when was this? August of 2021, I left my job. And as you all know, I was pregnant. I was trying to get pregnant for a long time. I finally got pregnant. Yes, I'm 44 years old. And yes, I have a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old. And now I have a 1-month-old. And sometimes I think, what the fuck was I thinking? I'm exhausted. I'm too old for this shit. And then other times I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I did it. It's a lot at 44, but I know it's just the infant stage. And I know this stage will pass and it will get a lot easier. It's just really hard right now. So anyway, so that's when I started my coaching practice. I left my job and I started doing this so that I can reach a ton more people and explain to them that you don't have to be sick. There is a way to heal and I'll show you how to do it. Because back when I was sick, that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody to hold my hand and say, hey, listen, you're doing the right thing. Keep doing this or do this. And I wanted to do it with a bunch of people. And I remember laying in that laying in that bed paralyzed, I remember just imagining what I wanted my life to be. Right? All those podcasts I used to listen to with Gabby Bernstein and Joe Dispenza, they would always say, visualize the life that you want. What I visualize is what you guys are seeing right now. I visualize being a healthy person who was able to talk to a whole bunch of people and tell them that they're going to be okay and they don't have anything to worry about. And I realize that you got diagnosed with MS, and I realize how much life sucks right now, but it doesn't have to. And I'll show you how. And I pictured myself having I didn't know if it was going to be a coaching practice or if I was going to be on a stage talking to people, but I knew that I was going to be the person that was going to heal and that was going to tell other people how to do it. So you're looking at what my dream was, laying in that bed paralyzed. So if you're laying in a bed right now watching this, or if you're in a wheelchair watching this, or if you have any level of symptoms and you're watching this, I want you to understand that this person that you see right now isn't always the person that I was. I was very miserable. I was very sad. I was very angry. I went through all the processes to get to where I am today. And it was a really long road. And the analogy that I use, did anyone ever see Shawshank Redemption, the movie? Do you remember when he escaped from the prison and he had to climb through the pipe of sewer, the sewage system? And he said he climbed through 2 football field lengths of shit to climb out and live the life that he was living. That's what I feel like I did. I feel like I climbed through all of that and I came out and it was raining. And I was standing there. I was being washed down. It's an amazing movie if you haven't seen it. But that's why I'm here today, to tell you that it's not going to be smooth and it's not going to be all roses and it's not going to be what you see today in me. It's going to be a journey. It's going to be an evolution, and it's going to suck in the beginning because any transition, any change sucks in the beginning until you get used to it, until you learn how to start incorporating the things that you enjoy back into your life. So, for example, gluten-free. Going gluten-free to me in the beginning was absolutely impossible. There's no way. I love that movie. Who said that? Suzanne, right? I know. I love that movie. There's so many correlations in that movie to my getting healthy. If you haven't seen Shawshank Redemption, you have to go watch it. Morgan Freeman, it's amazing. So I totally lost my train of thought. So I want you to know that your journey is going to look messy. Oh, the gluten-free. That's what I was saying. So when I first heard that I had to go gluten-free, there was, to me, I'm Italian. How am I going to raise my kids if I can't serve them pasta? How am I going to live without bread? Well, guess what? Today I'm still gluten-free and I eat pasta and I eat bread and I eat ice cream. Even though we're dairy-free, I still eat ice cream. Why? Because they make a really delicious coconut or almond milk-based or cashew milk-based ice cream. There is a substitution for every comfort food that you want, that you need. There's a substitution for it. I'm in no way going to live deprived, and I'm not going to expect anyone else to live deprived. A lot of people say to me, and they come to me, they're like, don't ask me to give up my coffee. I wouldn't give up coffee. Don't give up coffee. Are you insane? I gave up coffee when I was pregnant, but then I went right back to it. I wouldn't ask you to give up anything. What I'm asking you to do is change something and change it for the better. And yes, it's going to suck going through the change, or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just be uncomfortable, but there is a way to do it. So that's my story. I don't talk about my backstory a lot because I try to live in the now. I try to live in the gratitude of what my life is today and how I can help other people. But I know it's important for everyone to understand that I didn't just wake up and decide to be healthy one day and then this was the person that came out of that. No, it was a long, hard journey. And what I'm trying to do in this program with Minding Your Soul is make it so that it doesn't have to be as hard for you. And the first thing that I wanted to do was create the Facebook group because we need a community. And now we have this platform. We have this great community of people who are all either healed or healing themselves and supporting other people in their journey, because that is the only thing that I wanted. I wanted a family. I wanted a support system. I wanted somebody to say, it's okay, or it's going to be okay. And because I didn't have it, I created it. And you guys are amazing in this group. Absolutely amazing. Everyone supports everybody. We have these great recipes. Quinn, Anne, my God, the recipes are insane. We have I call her the resident cheerleader. That's Dawn. We have such great people in this group. And I thank God every day when I go in here, there's just such gratitude. because people are finally healing and people are finally understanding that they do have choices and they don't have to be sick. So, all right. What did I want to say before I go? Because it's 5:45. I've been tuning your ear off for 45 minutes. I'm sorry. Hold on. So I want to tell you about the workshop that I haven't put on my website yet, and I haven't started advertising. But my mother-in-law agreed to stay here the first week in May so that I could do the workshop. So, what is it? May. Okay. So May 2nd is a Monday. So I plan to do the workshop the week of May 2nd, every day, Monday through Friday, May 2nd through Friday. And you'll be able to sign up on my website, just not yet. I'm going to use this weekend coming up to get everything onto the website so that you guys can sign up and get a workbook and then get reminders. So what I'm going to do during the workshop is teach everybody how to do this, because what I started saying before and didn't finish was you don't need a lot of money. You absolutely don't need a lot of money. You can heal yourself on your own. And you can take all the information that is in this group and all the information that is going to be in the workshop and take it and start healing and do it all on your own. At the end of the workshop, though, if you decide that you want to do it with a closer, a tight-knit community, what I do is I open up my enrollment to the Path to Healing program. That's what I call it, because I get you on the path to healing. So you know exactly how your body works and how to heal it. And we do it with a group of people. So we get on Zoom every week, all Tuesdays. We get on Zoom and we all talk about where we are, the symptoms that are going away, the symptoms that we still have, what part of the program we're on. And we talk every Tuesday. And we become a very close community of women. Men, you're welcome too. I just don't have any men right now. A community of people, I should say, that are all helping each other. And we talk every week and we keep each other motivated. And then on Thursdays for this workshop, I've done something new, because I know that healing has to take place on all the levels. It has to be mind, body, and soul. And in the past, I only focused on the body, the physical part. So I teach you exactly what to do, when to do it to heal your physical body. But in order to fully recover, you have to address body, mind, and soul. So what I did was I would bring people to Matt Rowe, Catherine Rose. And for this program, I've made them part of the program. So you're going to get everything in the program. So I figured on Tuesdays is our group coaching with just me, and we focus on the physical body. We talk about everything that we need to do physically to help ourselves. And then on Thursdays is when we're going to have Matt and we're going to have Catherine and we're going to have the rest of the part, because I've seen in the past when people only focus on one part, they only heal to a certain level. They don't fully heal. You need the mind, the body, and the soul. So anyway, I'll stop talking. Okay, so that's going to be the week of May 2nd, and I'll let you know when it's on the website to sign up. In the meantime, who said that? Oh, Katie, can't wait for the workshop. Yeah, we have a lot of fun. I'm glad. Me either. We meet a lot of new people. There's going to be prizes. I forget what I did last time, but I'm going to look it up. There's prizes every day. There is homework. It is simple. But then at the end of the workshop, somebody is going to win a free enrollment in the Path to Healing program, because that's my way of giving back. If you participate in all the homework and your name gets pulled out of a hat at the end of the week, you get a free Path to Healing workshop. So Blanca was the one who won it last time, and she's doing amazing today. Actually, Blanca, I need an update. I haven't heard from you in a while. I don't think you're on here. Isabella says, thank you so much for this. You're very welcome. Charlotte, yes, there is. They have gluten-free Oreos now. Exactly. 10 years ago, when I went gluten-free, oh my God, it meant chicken and fish and vegetables. And I'm like, that's it. Today, you can totally go gluten-free. Now, I don't want to leave you with thinking that you have to eliminate all these things. You can absolutely eat anything that you want within reason. So if you're looking to start sooner than when the workshop starts, go look for my video where I do the green, yellow, red strategy for eating, because sugar does not feed the virus, but what we're looking to do is not feed the virus. So there are certain foods that do, certain foods that don't. But when you're looking to eliminate things or add things, that's a really good video, and it's quick. You can watch that. All right. 10 to 6. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions, of course, you could always email me at gethealthy@mindingyoursoul.com. And if you are just joining me for the first time and you're like, who the hell is this chick and what is she talking about, this protocol? All of the videos that I do a video every Wednesday. It's called the Live at 5, just because I thought it was a catchy name. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. I always do a video and I always teach you something, another piece of the puzzle that you need to heal yourself. You can go back in the group under events and watch all of them, but I started using StreamYard because it's just a better app than the Facebook Live. So not all of them are in there, but where they are is on YouTube. I have a Minding Your Soul YouTube channel. I think if you just go into YouTube and search Minding Your Soul, you'll find it. All of my videos get uploaded there. So if you want to just start watching the videos, it doesn't have to be in order. Just start learning about the body and how to heal the body. And what you'll do is you'll eventually learn and you'll build on each piece and eventually start getting better. So all the information that you need to heal is absolutely on YouTube. We're going to be doing the workshop the first week in May. That will give you a shit ton more information. And then we'll be opening up the Path to Healing enrollment. That's the 4-month program where you get the complete accelerated healing program with the body, mind, and soul all wrapped up into one. Weekly group coaching on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's my spiel. All right, I'm done. Everyone have a great night. And I will see you on next week's Live at 5. So if anyone, this was somebody's suggestion, if anybody has a topic they want me to talk about, it's a lot easier granting your requests rather than coming up with content myself. So absolutely just, send or post it in the group. And I would love content. What am I looking for? Suggestions. All right, everyone. Now I'm going. I'll see you soon. I'll talk to you later. Bye.